So I have the distinct advantage of leading a university that's relatively young and had the opportunity to be innovative in its formation. At UC Santa Cruz, University of California, Santa Cruz, we started about 48 years ago. And we're now already ranked as one of the best universities in the world under the age of 50, which of course makes me worry about what's going to happen when we turn 50. But the key thing is that we have been able to do some things a little differently than the norm. And I want to emphasize three things at the outset. The first is the importance of the public research university today. We do a lot to cultivate expertise and provide capacity for research, for learning, for discovery of new knowledge and adaptation. And I believe that public research universities have been extremely important for the development of our economy. U.S. public universities educate about 70% of college students who earn degrees in the United States today, public universities. So they're also key to social mobility. At my own campus, 50%, fully 50% of our undergraduate students are first-generation students. They will be the first in the first generation in their family to earn a four-year college degree. And that's very different than what the student population was, for example, when I was a student or when most of us were students. So as a university, one of the things that we're most proud of is that we don't just teach a bunch of facts. We teach students not what to think, but rather how to think, how to learn, and how to do things differently. That's one of our key roles, and that's something that we take extremely seriously. And we try to incorporate that with our research mission. The second thing I wanted to talk about was the strength of the liberal arts model in general. We all know about it. I know there's been discussions of it today here at this meeting. We want well-rounded graduates who can work across disciplines and work with many other people. It's a good thing that historians take science. It's a good thing that English majors grasp physics. I had an interesting experience a couple of months ago. I was in India at a conference on the future of liberal arts in India. Now, this is a gross overstatement, but to a first approximation, virtually every parent in India wants their child to grow up to be an engineer. And a lot of that is reflected in the curriculum that one sees in Indian universities. So I found it extremely interesting that there was a conference there on the future of liberal arts in India, and it was organized by scientists and engineers because they realized the importance of actually having engineers who can write, who can communicate, who can work in teams. So yes, of course, we need STEM fields. There's no question about that. But they need to come with a full toolkit. We need engineers who read, who follow world events, who are skilled communicators, who can work across boundaries. We need genomics experts who are steeped in the ethics of genomics, not just in the actual doing of genomics. And the interdisciplinary culture that a university like ours can engender really fosters that kind of activity. And of course, the third thing I wanted to mention was interdisciplinarity, because I actually think that's something that our campus has done reasonably well. Now, I assure you that any university leader standing up in front of an audience will tout the fact that their university is truly interdisciplinary. That all of us will say it. The real question is how much we actually do it and what kind of demonstrated activities we have, because it is almost a buzzword. On our campus, it's really been transformative to be interdisciplinary. For example, we are now the home of the National Cancer Genome Data Repository. Part of that is because of the work that our computer scientists did, reaching across and working with biologists. I could give you many examples. I'll give you one other example that I think is really interesting, and that's the issue of gaming and playable media, a relatively new program, which actually involves faculty and students from all of our academic divisions. Humanities, where you have to know something about linguistics, the arts, where you need to know something about design, the sciences, where you need to know how people react to certain things, the social sciences, where the psychological response to certain stimuli are important, as well as the obvious one in engineering and computer science. Those are examples of interdisciplinary programs that span a broad range. And I have to say that personally, my own experience as a scientist was that interactiveness, the ability to work across boundaries, has been crucial. Some of my best work emanated from chance encounters that I had with people from other departments. So interdisciplinarity and the ability to work across boundaries is really crucial. And I think our innovative programs really do best when they embody that T-shaped vision. We need people who are culturally aware and engaged in the world, and many of our programs actually accomplish that. Now, at the undergraduate level, it's really important to foster a curriculum that engenders this T-shaped idea. For example, we do one thing at Santa Cruz that I'm very proud of, and I might add, we're not doing everything that I think we could do, but we do some things right. We have a graduation requirement now that requires every student at our university to take a course in communications in their major. Not just in writing, not just in speech, but in their major, so that they, at a junior or a senior level, really learn how to communicate the concepts that hopefully they've already learned. I think that that's going to be a wave of the future. Now, our university is organized into undergraduate colleges. We have 10 interdisciplinary undergraduate colleges where students come as a freshman and where they live and where they take courses that are in common with the other college students in that same college, so that they do share a living and learning experience with others. But those colleges, by being interdisciplinary, also provide opportunities for students to make connections outside of their own major. In fact, we encourage students to consider going to a college, becoming a member of a college that's not associated with their major, that's in a field far removed from their major, to develop their skills. And the third thing that we take great pride in is the extent to which our students do research with faculty members. By the time they graduate, fully 60% of our students will have done research with a faculty member. And I think that accounts for the fact that we have one of the highest percentages of undergraduates who go on to get doctoral degrees because they have that research experience already. So the last point about undergraduate education is hands-on learning experience. There are many ways that one can have those hands-on learning experience, and we need to do more of that. One great example is our Global Information Internship Program, which allows students to bring high-tech solutions to third world problems. We have students who go to Africa or to Watsonville to bring high-tech solutions to certain social problems. And that's been a great opportunity for students to work in areas outside of their own majors. So we do a lot of that. But I would be the first to admit to you there is an inherent tension in the need to provide disciplinary strength versus the need to provide a well-rounded, greater cultural breadth to our students. That tension is there. That doesn't mean that the two are inconsistent with one another. And it's not clear to me that there has to be a trade-off. So when I think about higher education, I guess my last point is when I think about higher education, I think about not just what we do well in higher education, but what our partners in industry and government do, because they do things that are certain things a lot better than higher education does. Their industry is extremely good about organizing about real-world problems and finding solutions involving multidisciplinary teams. So I think we need to think about university-industrial partnerships as a way of establishing a new ecology of education, a symbiotic relationship. We should think about that not as a closed system, but rather as an open system where we invite in partners to both industry and to higher education. And we can think about this as a continuum between those organizations. And I think that's a place where there can be real innovation in education and training that can take place. Higher education tends to respond incrementally to problems. We are not the most nimble of organizations, generally. An example of that is if you look at STEM disciplines, it's been known for forever that STEM disciplines, that women and minorities are vastly underrepresented in most STEM disciplines. So we've known about that forever. Many universities, including my own, have put in place programs to address that issue. But we've addressed it incrementally. And the fact that we've made progress, but slow progress, is an indication that there's a real problem there, and maybe we're all thinking too small. It's possible that we can learn from industry in terms of how to address problems such as that in a faster, more impressive way. Our students seek to learn skills and knowledge about the world and about other cultures. We have programs that broaden our students, probably not enough such programs. For example, we have a graduate leadership certificate program, so our graduate students, our PhD students, can learn something about leadership and how to really provide something new in the world. In our School of Engineering, we have senior projects that are team endeavors that students work on as kind of a culminating experience for their engineering education, so that they do learn to work together in teams. And that's, by the way, a great place where industrial partnerships can help. We know that industry knows how to do it. We know that they're interested in graduates who have those skills, and I see ways that we can work together much more effectively. I know at UC Santa Cruz, IBM, for example, supports some of our students working on senior projects. And we have faculty who thrive with the kind of industrial interactions that they have. We have one faculty member here at IBM from psychology who's doing work on the use of social and collaborative software within IBM, and as well as trying to understand the dynamics of online communications. That's the kind of cross-disciplinary work that I think really makes for a great future. So I think that I think there is a potential for a new ecology in education. It seems like a good direction to go in which I can ask the question, are our partnerships between higher education and industry robust enough to really produce the kinds of students that we need in this interesting new world in which we live? So thank you.